So I want to show you an interesting poem, To a Mouse by Robert Burns, because this is where Of Mice and Men gets its title from. Robert Burns was a great Scottish poet, the sort of Scottish equivalent of Shakespeare, if you like, and maybe you would say, after Shakespeare, the most significant writer in the English language. Great poet, used often, typically his personal experiences to try to inspire himself for his poems, and this one is an interesting one. And there's two things to watch out for here. One is the very direct sort of comparison with the title of Mice and Men, and the other is the similarity in the message between the book of Mice and Men and this poem To a Mouse. So basically, this is something that happens in November 1785. Robert Burns is working on his farm. He has a plough, and as he goes along ploughing, he destroys accidentally a mouse's nest. So a mouse has built its nest and he's gone straight through it with his plough. And so this poem is him apologising to the mouse, which might sound weird, but if you think about it, this is a brilliant example of just showing sympathy with other people and other things, and showing empathy for everything in the world. And that's a theme I'll get back to in a moment. So I'll read it through. It's in Scottish dialect, and I apologise, I'm going to have to read it in a bit of a Scottish accent. It sounds really weird if you read it in your own non-Scottish voice, so I apologise for that. There's a lot of dialect words, so I'll stop at the end of every verse just to go through and explain. So, To a Mouse. Wee sleeket, cowran, timorous beastie, oh what a panic's in thy breastie, thou needna start away so hasty with bickerin brattle. I would be lave to rin and chase thee with murd'ring pattle. So the poor mouse, its nest has just been destroyed by his plough by accident, and it's there panicking around. It's cowering and timorous, it's frightened, it's got a panic in its breast, and it's trying to run away. And he says, you don't have to run away so quickly with bickerin brattle. That's the noise it's making, squeaking. Because he said he wouldn't run and chase it with murd'ring pattle. He wouldn't pick up an instrument and chase it and kill it. So don't be scared, I mean you no harm. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union, and justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. So now, important, he's starting to establish that he and the mouse have got a lot in common. He said, I'm sorry mankind has damaged your life by him destroying the nest, and he's justified the mouse's ill opinion of humans. But he says that I'm the same as you, I'm a fellow mortal, we're both alive, we're both poor earthbound companions, we're both living together on the same planet. Right, verse 3. I doubt now, whyles, but thou may thieve, but what then? Poor beastie, thou maun leave. A daimen-icker and a thrave's a small request. I'll get a blessin with a lave and never must. So he says, okay, you steal stuff from my house, but you have to do that to survive. So you steal stuff from my house, or maybe, should I say, you steal bits of my crop. But that's okay. It doesn't bother me. I've got nothing against you. Thy wee bit hussy too in ruin. 'Tis silly, whiles the winds are strewing, and nothing now to build a new one, a foggish green, and bleak December's winds ensuing be snell and keen. So, I've destroyed your house. I've destroyed your wee bit house, your little house. And it's bad as well, because it's the worst time of year to do it. The winds are blowing. There's nothing around now to build a new one, because it's winter. There's no new materials for the mouse. And so it's bad. Bleak December's winds are coming. So he's done something really bad here, hasn't he, in destroying his nest. Thou saw the fields laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cosy here beneath the blast thou thought to dwell, till crash the cruel coulter passed out through thy cell. So you thought you're cosy, you settled in for the winter, you got everything planned out, and then bang, I've gone and smashed my plough straight through your house. That wee bit heap of leaves and stubble has cost thee money a weary nibble, and now thou's turned out for all thy trouble. But house or hald, To though the winter's sleety dribble and cranach cold. Oh, now you're stuffed, mates. Now I've cast you out into the cold. You've worked so hard building that house. You thought you'd made all your plans for the future, and now I've gone and destroyed it, and you're left exposed to the elements. And now we get to the bit which is clearly linked to of mice and men. But mousie, thou art nor thy lane, improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes of mice and men gang after gley, and leave us naught but grief and pain for promised joy. So now we get to the key stuff. The best laid schemes of mice and men gang after gley. So, mouse, you're not alone. Improving foresight may be vain. So, mouse, you've planned. You've been sensible. You've planned everything out so that by the time the winter comes, you've got this lovely cosy nest to protect you. But sadly, your foresight is in vain. You've planned everything out, and then something out of your control has come to destroy it. And he said, you're not alone in that, because humans are the same. Yeah, the best laid schemes of mice and men gang after gley. Mice and men are the same. They have plans, they have schemes, they plot how they're going to go forwards in their lives, but they can go astray, they can go wrong, and then they leave us nothing but grief and pain for promised joy. So you have a plan, you have a dream, for mice and men, dreams, you have a dream, but things can happen out of your control that rip them away from you and mean that your dream cannot happen, and that leaves you naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Instead of the happiness that you were promised, the happiness you hoped for, all you get is grief and pain. So there's the first link there, because of Mice and Men, of course. Oh, that's the title of Mice and Men. That's where it's come from. That's what's inspired Steinbeck. The idea that you can have a dream, you can plan things out, but circumstances outside your control can just destroy that dream. So we can see how that links into Mice and Men, I think, pretty clearly. But there is another thing which I'll come to when we finish the poem, because there's one verse left, which is a bit depressing. Still thou art blessed compared with me, the present only toucheth thee. But och, I backward cast my eye on prospects drear, and forward though I cannot see, I guess and fear. So Robert Burns says to the mouse, actually, mate, you're better off than me, if anything, because you can only understand the present, whereas I can think about the past and I can worry about the future. Yeah, you're blessed compared with me because only the present touches you. Yeah? I backward cast my eye on prospects drear, so I can look back and remember all the bad times. And to be fair, this may well be inspired by Robert Burns, who had a very tough upbringing. His father was a farmer, and they initially, the early part of Robert Burns' life, the landlord who actually owned the land that his father farmed was very nice and friendly. But when a new landlord came in, that guy was cruel and basically was looking to kick them off the land that they've lived on all their lives. So he understands this idea that in the past you can remember your suffering, and also that things out of your control can put you in a bad situation, just like in Of Mice and Men. The depression is putting people like George and Lenny in a bad position. It's not their fault, they didn't make it happen. And he also says that, unlike the mouse, he can actually anticipate the future and worry about what's going to happen next. And forward, though I cannot see, I guess and fear. So I can look forwards as well. I can look at what is to come, and I can guess what's going to happen, and I can fear it. I can be frightened by the future. So this, again, dreaming, but then also looking forwards and seeing how things can go wrong. You can see all the links with Mice and Men. The second big thing is just the theme. The theme of this poem is, again, an idea of being empathetic, isn't it? Of understanding the feelings of others, whether they're humans or whether they're mice. That's exactly the point of Mice and Men, isn't it? Steinbeck saying, if you're on your own, you get mean. People need friends. People need company. People need companionship. And that is his basic message. So here we are, Burns saying humans and mice, we're all the same, we're in it together. Even though you're only a little wild animal, I understand your pain, I feel bad about what I've done, I care. And Steinbeck saying that's how we should be with other people as well.